at his catty corner from the studio so you can give the hairy eyeball to the news guy, the DJ, and the general manager could yell at you. It's all your whole job as in a real radio station once upon a time was the PD is the orchestra leader and is the disciplinarian of the building always. Hey, watch this. Hey, look out. And the general manager feels good if he sees the PD is all over it. Hey, I heard Bob's news this morning. That changed at 7:25. Didn't? Oh, yeah, no, I talked to him at 7:03 right after he did this first soundbite. Yeah, because, the mayor's wife's going to call me. I'm going to get in this morning. No, I got you, Bill. That's the way we do it. Yeah, no, you and me, thank God. He's so talented, but he's a lunatic. We got to make sure. That was the world. That was the world of Bob Bell. Bob Bell would have been the guy. My comedy partner, who, by the way, just got back from Nova Scotia. He's great. I love him. I don't know why I'm not Bob Bell. I've said a million times, every time we hang out, I go, I don't know why I'm not you. Why didn't I? He's had terrible tragedy. I would never bring it up. Something happened hard. He was a young guy. Heartbreak, what happened. In the family, personal, nothing to do with him at all. Just happened to. But what a heart on this guy. But he'll go in, you know what he does? People ask me, what do comedians do like him, right? Because I'm this. People find me, they go, oh, I get it. You got a big mouth on the radio, so I'm sure you got a bigger mouth when you go to the comedy club. I go, I do. That's what they pay me for. It's what they love. People want me to go nuts in a way that gives them, look, it's obvious. Bob Bell and I do a certain kind of comedy. Sam Kinison and Bob Bell and I do a certain kind of comedy. That's all. There has to be. Somebody has got to turn the amp up to 11. Sorry, Spinal Tap. It's everybody knows about 11. They just put it in the script. But everybody's always known about 11. Cain and Abel knew about 11. You know which one had it on 11. That's how you do. Mountain put out an album when I was mountain climbing. This album is intended, to be played loud. So it's that kind of catty corner thing. He's got the khakis on. He's a fair-haired gentleman. Don Williams is his name. WFDL's Don Williams, Ed Tyll. Ed Tyll, sit right down. Oh, Ed Tyll, good to meet. And I'm like, wow, this guy really is happy to meet me. What could be going on? I'm thinking to myself, something's got to be up now. This is not, we both know he hasn't seen me do anything, and he is acting like I've been doing it. So I said, you're either getting away with this or something's up. Okay. Something was up, all right. He's already got it typed up because he knows I'm a young guy. I want this gig. He knows when I was driving out there, I'm prepping in the car. He also knows something that I know now. I happen to be, in the position where he was many years ago. He's looking at me as a kid. This kid will do anything to get this job. I know that. You're talking about. All you got to do is treat this kid like he's a real broadcaster. He will paint the office before his show. He'll he'll build you a new office. This kid wants to be here. So I kind of don't know about that syndrome yet because I have it. I live that syndrome. How would I know that people think that way and can see you a mile away, knowing they can pay you nothing, right? You'll get guaranteeing yourself the lowest paycheck. If you go, make sure you show the boss that you're really willing to do. Yeah, okay, why don't you guarantee yourself the lowest paycheck in the history of paychecks because he's dying to be in here. He wants to be on the radio in Fort Lauderdale. So he's holding, in those days, a piece of paper, technically would be called a memo. What makes typing on a piece of paper a memo? How does it become? But that's typing. No, it's a memo when a boss puts a handwritten initials on it. Initials it. That's it. Now you have to do it. Bathroom will be closed. Friday afternoon, the plumber's coming. Make sure you go before 3. You won't be going between 3 and 5. Now, and that's initialed, people go, well, no, he didn't initial that. He's not going to take away the bathroom from 20 people in 2 hours. What are you, nuts? He initialed that? Oh, he changed it. Yeah, I see. He changed. He changed it from 3:30 to 5. Yeah, because everybody ran in his office. Somebody, you crazy? We have bladders. We're not gonna be storing urine for you. Then you better get a porta potty outside, Mister. I don't have a bathroom for 2 hours with grown-ups. Yeah. So, anyway, God, this is good coffee too. That was the other thing, man. Radio station coffee. So here we go. Holding a memo. And he's smiling, so can't be that bad. He likes, but I know there's something in there. He says, we'd like you to start Saturday night. I said, great. He said, it's all here. I typed it up for you. There is just one thing. You don't have any problem being, hold your breath. You don't have any problem being. Do you understand that the verb here is being, and I don't know what the F is going to being? What is it? You don't mind being, and he's holding the paper. So if this paper was just a set of instructions, he would say something like, you just don't mind doing, rolling up the windows in the company vehicle after you use it. I don't know. You don't mind doing is fine. You don't mind being. Every light is going, what? Like my Bob Bell instincts. Uh-oh, somebody's trying to mess with your act. Like Bob doesn't let that. He's a true free spirit, free expression guy. He doesn't go for anybody telling anybody else how to express themselves. And Bob and I bonded because I have tested Bob's principle many, many times for him. Any free speech advocate that gets a hold of this show, we have a couple coming up on the guest list. This guy used to be on the show every 6 months. We're going to get him back. I love all these interviews, but it wasn't what they were programming so much in Delaware, so I didn't do a lot of interviews there. But we're getting this guy back because he's another one. He's a great authenticity to people when you get down with them. If you're going to get down with it, if you're really going to talk about free speech, you're not going to come on and go, wait, I'm a free speecher, but of course, there are many things to... Oh, no. If you're a free speecher, there are not many, 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 many things. Now. And you don't get to go blah, 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 and then I'm supposed to listen to all that crap and do something about it. Those days are over. So back in the day, I was the opposite. I was very pliable. So he says to me, you don't mind being Kenny Knox when you're on the air? And I go, no, of course not. And it took about 2 seconds for that to sink in. As you heard on the drive over, I am Ed Tyll. I'm Ed. And by the way, that day I was Ed Tyll. So I had worked on my real name, the driver's license name, the student ID that I still carry for discounts at bars. And now if you watch the show on these videos, don't tell me I'm not posting and videoing, okay? It's like frickin' Martin Scorsese's warehouse over here of the crap that he cut. I have these raw cuts flying. The other day somebody said, I was watching one of your videos. Are you sure that you wanted that one to go out? I go, here we go. We're going to have this problem now. Yes, because I'm not big on chopping it up, putting on the SEO tags. You got to type the titles. Then you got to get the text in the middle. Then you got to put the keywords. And you got to have the hot keywords. And you got to put the searchables. Then you got the disgusting, what they've done. So I now know we're back to 19... what year is this? 19. Yeah, it's a long 19 ago. Oh, it's many, many 19s ago. I'll give you the actual date. This thing at FTL in Fort Lauderdale is happening June 2nd, 3rd, or 4th of 81. Like it was yesterday. What do you mean, 38 years ago? Is that what it was? Psycho. And I knew what I had just sold out to. And he knew he got away with it. He took advantage of my attempt to be so nice and pliable and agreeable in the moment that for him, a piece of Keiko. Look what I got done. I just changed his name and he doesn't care. He wants to be on so much. I take one step toward the threshold of his office. You can just see I want to get the verb right. The metamorphizing of Ed Tyll into the Ed Tyll Hulk. Now, Ed Till's chest is getting bigger. His hair is getting curlier, if that's possible. I'm growing out of my high top sneakers. The Chuck Taylors are tearing at the ankle because I'm becoming Ed Tyll. The one they tried to fire me. They all have tried to, they say, well, you left Delaware. I said, I knew what was, I saw the whole hand. I just I wanted them to syndicate me. I know they didn't want me on live. It was a great disappointment, but I knew in my heart of hearts, I told my friend Paula, I told my friend Dan, I told everybody. I said, they don't get it. They don't get it. And Dan would understand me. Dan never told me I was wrong. I love Dan. I'll always love Dan. I would have hung out with Dan in second grade. I would have sat next to Dan at assembly, easygoing, upbeat guy. And I would have, even then, as a kid, you'd probably say, I admire that coloring that you do. Yeah, a pretty good coloring book. Yeah, it's all about radio. So that was the feeling of who I was. I was that guy, easygoing, sitting next to Dan guy. And I become the Ed Tyll Hulk. So I turn around. Now, he's walking like everything is happy for him. Woo! Ed Tyll changed his name, and he's taking over the late nights, and I can get out of here and play golf. And he had that spry kind of, motion as he came out from behind his desk. He kind of sprung out from behind his desk. He's all good. Everything's good in his world. General managers giving the old Winkski, thumbs up. The other DJs like, ooh, so I guess they got themselves a Saturday night kid. In his world, it's a frickin', a fish tank of fun. He's swimming around like a kissing gourami. Woo! You get those and you love them in the fish tank. I love the gouramis because at least they do something. They're willing to at least move their jaw. The rest of them, the small ones, it's great. They swim, but they're swimming like you're not there. The Ed Tyll Hulk is confrontational. You probably have heard me on with this kid, Rob. He'll start with the world is a certain way, and I will see the Chinese coming over the hill, and I will, press him. What will you do when Ho Swung Lo is pointing right at you? And you say, oh, my God, they were way over there. They said they were going to come and get us, and now they're in Kansas or wherever the hell they are. And I get very confrontational when it's, I'm watching the animals fight last night. I'm working on that website tirelessly, and which is looking beautiful. And Starlin did a great job, and Peter's helping us with the art. But, those animals, you got 3 lions, and they're eating, and this leopard comes along, and because the lions took a break from chewing, the leopard's like, hey, I'm going to get me some, and these lions come out, and it's 3-on-1, and it's incredible because up until the moment that somebody went after somebody's food, these animals are, hanging out, or, they got their kids around them, walking around. Everything is good. It's not a care. And then, So apparently I have the same problem in my DNA. I become confrontational, and it's very bad because people who know me go, whoa, easy. That's it. Hold on. We know where that goes. And other people who don't know me go, oh, my God. So it's now 1981. I was feeling like, I don't know, Clark Kent or somebody at the Daily Planet, without the Superman part. I don't want to be Jimmy Olsen, but, I was like a guy starting out doing the thing, and now I'm somebody else. And he sees that my body language and everything has changed. He goes, Ed, is everything all right? And I said, not really. He says, oh, come on, sit down. Come on. So I said, all right, good. You struck the right note because you're sitting down, which means he does want you to do what's on the paper. Now you kind of have him. I said, so here we go. You are literally a child now, and this is a middle-aged man, but this is the way it's going to go. If you want to perform in their buildings, their studios, this is the deal. If you do, Kenny Knox, he is going to let you have the phone. And he did. He let me have the phones. I said, well, can I take requests and talk about the artist on the record and then play it? He goes, oh, that's great. Now he wants to agree with me about something I want to do because he saw the Incredible Hulk side and he didn't want that. And, maybe it meant, I'm trying to get this done. I don't want to drive this guy away. So there it is. Now I begin my 40 years of joyful passive aggression against every corporate manager ever. Now, again, I just want to be clear. I was a program director. I was not a corporate manager. Corporate didn't know how I was managed. It was many years, 30 years ago to the year. Right now, actually, what month are we? We're in October, sure. This month, 30 years ago, I become a PD. He comes down the hall. He says, your ratings are great. I think I'm getting a ratings bonus. I think I'm getting some goodie for me. He's going on, John Mikovich. Look at these ratings. Take a look. I said, wow, that's great, John. Look, I put some highlighter on. I said, that's terrific. This is great. Like, I know something's coming again. You could feel it. You can feel it. He's in there just like the first guy. It's a thing. He goes, so listen, we want you to enjoy this. This is, he's dancing around it. He goes, and we think you could be the program director. What do you think? There's a little money in it. And I went, I'm sorry? He says, yeah, we want you to be. I said, I said, I kind of right now, I get in here an hour before the show, and then the show's over. I cut my promo, and I'm gone. Yeah, well, that's, you wouldn't be able to do that. You can come in around 8. You can get out of here around 4:30. I said, really? He said, oh, come on. He said, you're going to love it. They love you down the hall there. Your show they're all excited. They're all a bunch of locals here. And you come in here and they love your topics. And they come in and say, Ed did this. And I said, but this is like, that's work. I said, I've worked for program directors. You got to do the vacation schedule. Oh, that's nothing. Come on. That's no big deal. I don't do, I do that. I throw it together in 2 minutes. And I'm like, oh, now I get it. The general manager was doing all of this because I didn't want to know what was going on down this end of the hall. So all this crap had fallen back to him. I don't know who or how it was ever getting done. All I knew was my ADP paycheck was coming. I lived not on top of the French Quarter, but I lived where you go to the French Quarter every day. So that's what I did. Francis DeRosa, one of the great salespeople in the history of local radio. He was, Francis could have had his own television show. He was an impresario, handsome guy, beautiful women throwing themselves at him everywhere we went. Preservation Hall, Tipitinas, everywhere, every icon of New Orleans, Louisiana in 1989. We worked in the Maison Blanche building. We worked in a landmark. We were in an icon. It was an extraordinary time. So the last thing I wanted was this gig. Then I said, well, how much money? So a second time, I go, here we go. You have now been captured, but the king who captured you will make you, will make your life good for agreeing to be captured. So I said, well, I could use another couple, $3,000 a month. He goes, okay, all right. If that's what you want me to tell, I said, I think that's what you got to tell him. I said, I don't want to be too specific, but it's got to be a hit of that size to take up all the. I said, I'm going to be concerned about all this stuff. What are you going to put all this on me? I'm not a. Well, that's the thing, it's tough. You're a talent. I said, yes, that's why. Well, it's hard for you guys. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. You guys are not right in the head. That's why you're on. I said, is that right? I said, well, it's in a good way. You're kind of nuts, but you're nuts in a way that people, I like to listen to you when you go off. I don't know what the hell you're talking about half the time. Okay. So I said, when you said, I want to start this right away. I'm going to call Mark right now. So the owner was a guy who inherited this whole billboard business, and our station was like an add-on, like a thing that the father really cared about. The other business was regional, and it was a cash money printing machine, billboards. All you had to do was keep selling them and changing them and selling. It was incredible. He had a big string of billboards. So all of that, this owner, Mark, had inherited. So Mark was a playboy. He was all over, the Venice Film Festival, the Cannes Film Festival, Sydney, Australia. He's having a great time. Long hair, partying. Great guy, though. I mean, not a lunatic partier at all. Soft-spoken guy. Loved to read novels, into art. All this kind of stuff that the privilege, like the kind of guy everybody would like to murder now on the news. If they brought poor Mark, I loved him. He visited us twice. He was a great guy, but he was like a one phone call deal. So John gets me down the hall. He goes, go down the hall, have a bagel. New York stereo. This guy John Mikovich was from Gulfport, Mississippi. Okay, and he's driving to work in the French Quarter every day. That's what he did. He wakes up in his Cadillac, his yellow Cadillac, and he take off from Gulfport. And it was when the bag phones had just come out. So you couldn't even see John sometimes when he rolled up because he's leaning on the bag phone as he talks and uses one corner of his left eye's peripheral vision to see where he's going. Hilarious. He gets out of the car, comes in the building. First thing he does, he brings a bag of food. Throws a bag of food down on his desk. He's been driving 90 minutes, 2 hours, whatever. Big bag of food, crawfish, etouffee. It's a random assortment of all rich, delicious food, and then the 4 cups of cafe beignet. There's special coffee in Louisiana where they put chicory into their coffee down at Cafe Beignet, and they give you that powdered sugar on the donuts, which have no hole in them. A beignet is, delicious, very heavy. So that's the environment. That's what he did every day. He was one of those guys. And he wanted me, I'm going to be doing all the paperwork so he could have more time. He would go to Commander's Palace, and he would hook up with the Morials, the mayor, the brother, the sister-in-law, and the committee. He was with all this stuff. So one phone call to Mark, Mark, because Mark liked the show. Mark loved the show. Mark was all in favor of hiring me. I was hired away from another uppity station. I had a great general manager at the previous station. She and I saw the show, and then one day her boss says, forget it, that's it, he went too far. I heard what he said, that Mike Tyson joke, that George Bush joke, and again it was the father joke back in that's it. So the guys at John Mikovich says to me, now tell me something, is this a big prank with you and that Sherry over there? Because I'm serious, I do not believe that you're not on air. Because everybody at my radio station listens to y'all's ass all day. So I just want to don't make me look stupid, boy. And I said, John, honestly, we can't do business over that. I don't know what I said, it's not her fault. I said, don't blame Sherry. She's in there telling me every day I'm having a great show. Some lunatic upstairs doesn't even know how much these people love the show. Well, my whole goddamn radio station over here listens to you, and they told me, Ed Tyll said this, Ed Tyll said that. So I told my station today, if this is true, what I saw in the paper, you are coming to work for us right now. I will send a car over there. I said, you don't have to send a car. Come over tomorrow morning. We are having breakfast. Am I right? I'm staying in town tonight. He says, I'm getting a room at the Westin. I want you to come to the Westin tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Sit down with me. Have some breakfast. I am going to feed you. You are going to be one of our family. Flabbergasted. This is unbelievable. I can't even imagine that this is happening. thing. And the gal that he's stealing me from, she's brokenhearted. Oh, she used to have the best happy hours for us. She'd listen to the show, laugh her ass off, tell everybody, come on, we're going across the street for drinks. Ed Till's a lunatic. Drinks are on me. And it was the greatest time. So now all of this is going to grind to a halt because Party Boy over here driving in from, Deliverance neighborhood. It was like a banjo when that guy was around, man. He was a great guy. He wasn't, in any way slow, but it was a heavy lift to keep up with. The food just kept everything had some kind of sauce on it, and everything was a crustacean or a catfish. That was it. Crustaceans and he would always say, I'm just sitting down to it. I got plenty extra, because he would always order double. I go, John, all these boxes. He goes, if the guy's going to come out and bring me food, I get twice as much. I'll eat later. You know me, I eat once a day. So I liked all these tastes and flavors, but I couldn't keep up with him with the volume. And the same thing with the drinking. He only ordered one or two things. It was either bourbon, real bourbon. He goes, you got any real bourbon in here? He goes, don't tell me with the brand. Don't confuse the issue, he would say to me. Or them, he would say, real bourbon. And that meant, he was always drinking doubles. And, I don't think I said, he's 350. He's 350 and 6'3". Right. So any normal meal, he has to have three of them. So when he has me to do this, it's a bad thing about business people that are good. They do dream up the next thing they want from you. So unfortunately, like I said last night, I'm watching When Animals Fight. In the jungle, if you are attacked defending your pride, everybody in the neighborhood knows that you are wounded, even from a successful battle. You fought off the predator, but you smell of wound. Your blood, it's healing on the outside of your fur. Maybe the predator even spots that glistening red, like, oh my God, a living, bleeding. I mean, that is like us going to, big steakhouse. So I had that. Sad with John. Look, you're playing with the big boys. They're coming for it. It's like the same thing in the NBA music business. They're coming for you now. Now they got the talent guy doing what they want. They got the point guard doing what they want. They got the new guy cooperating with the coach. Their job is done, right? He's got the manipulation. So he comes back at me for, hey, listen, Ron Small is getting ready to leave. I said, really? The morning show? He goes, yeah. I go, he didn't tell me. He goes, yeah. He goes, I hired him long before you. He wanted to give me the courtesy last night. He goes, he's going to tell you in about an hour. He says, but call me last night. He's, loves us, but he's gone. I said, wow, I am going to have to hire a morning show. Well, that's why I came down here to talk to you. Oh, my God. No, he is not. He is not going to do that after what I've done for him. After I'm the one, his family, his station, because that was Gulfport, Mississippi talking. That was the yellow Cadillac talking. So, he now wants me, needs me. Mark feels. There you go. There's the club. Mark and I feel. He's much older than Mark, by the way. That was the other thing. He was like a father figure to Mark. I feel very strongly you're the only one that can do this. There's going to be a big, they're going to go nuts when he's gone. Do you know what my phone's going to do, Ed? It's everything. When he needed me to do something, he would show me how bad things were going to be for him to set me up so that I would expect it to be bad. That's a beautiful technique. I love Mississippi. You don't know what I learned in the bayou from this guy. So, I don't know what to say because I can't refuse. If it's a hard refusal, then who knows? I'm still under 30 over here. I'm not even a 30-year-old guy yet, okay? So, I start picking, I start reflecting. It's an old technique, right? You start doing the same thing back to him. Oh, jeez. I mean, I'd be getting up at 3:30. My show is based on what's been happening in the day. Nothing will have happened yet. They're going to have separation anxiety off this guy, and it's going to negatively inhibit my audience. Going to get all upset because now what are you telling my real fans? Get up at 6, and we're going to start going after the number one sewer bond issue tomorrow. We can't do that's. Not going to. He says, I know it's not going to be easy, but you can do it. It's for you to figure out. You're a great talent. That's the other one. They go, yeah, the great talent thing only comes out when they don't even know if something can be. They want you to just wade into it, just on a dime. And I think I had a day and a half. I think the way it happened was, I think this is a Friday, if I'm not mistaken, and I love this guy, Ron Small. We're getting along like that's why I was a little shocked, but he really knew John for a long time, and John put the money in his pocket for years. I was just a supervisor, but before I became the PD, he was like my favorite guy to see in the building. But as all morning guys in those days, at 10:01 they're out of the building. Come on, they just gave you the big sacrifice. You can't get with these guys at 10:01. You need to ask for that one day, once a week, where they hang around. For the PD at like 11. Once a week, a morning guy would have to chill out, have breakfast. Now, if you had a real jerk as a boss, it would be tape listening time. Oh, my God. Now we're going to take it out of context. Now we're going to take a joke I did at 6:20 in the morning, when everybody's at 6:20. Now it's 11 o'clock in the morning, and somebody's about to tell me how this joke should be changed. Here's what, and he said, well, I don't know, when I did that, everybody in the studio cracked up. We didn't get any complaints on the phone. Well, sometimes people don't want to complain, Ed. They're just going to turn you off. I said, so now I have to worry about the people who silently, how do I know if they're silently leaving? If they tell me, hey, they change the topic. Hey, your guest sucks. Hey, you suck. At least you got something to work with. How am I supposed to work with? I didn't hear anything. And now you think something happened now. You don't know who turned up. Were you in their car? Well, I don't think that's the point now. I don't. So here we go. Right. So when I finally have to do this, it's a day and a half of lying to myself. I go home on Friday. I make no social plan at all because I feel like Felicity Huffman. I feel like, oh boy, here we go. You're going in jail. They want you in jail now. There's enough people. I thought the world was too many people in jail, and now they want you because you. And personally, I do like her being in trouble because she thought she could, break the law. I didn't break any law. I'm just Ed Tyll. I'm the guy in the car, trying to get my voice low enough to say with confidence, yes, I am Ed Tyll. That's it. That's all I wanted to be. And I said, he is this guy, this station, this business, even the guy I like, the millionaire, inadvertently, I don't think he's not wasting one brain cell on anything except cooperation. He wants to get back to the Venice Film Festival. He wants to dance with the Countess at Monte Carlo at the casino. Oh, yeah. Private planes. He's hung out with the Rolling Stones, and not over a music event. He just hung out where the Rolling Stones hung out and all the other, yeah. Okay. So now I know. It all comes clear to me. My dad's instinct when he, walked out on CBS. My dad walked out on CBS. A lot of people go, you must be kidding. My dad walked out on CBS in the 1950s when people would have killed to have that job. And I'll tell you why. He had the best reason in the world. He didn't like it. And that was all that mattered. Everybody's like, oh, Ed. Oh, my dad's like, it's not about what you think I would like to do. And it caused a big ripple because the whole family's like, oh, Ed and Tina, Ed's working for CBS. Ed and Tina, Ed and Tina should get a house. Ed and Tina should buy a car. Everybody's like all excited. My dad's got this job, and my dad is coming home every day saying to my mom, this job's terrible. It's like, no, it's all sit down. He didn't like all the union stereotypes because it was way back in the day. He didn't want forced coffee. He didn't want to take a coffee break for half an hour twice a day. Who wants to do that? Who wants two 30-minute coffee breaks on top of your hour? He was, like me. What are we doing here? Well, we're on break. But we're making the Carol Burnett show in there. He worked on Ed Sullivan Show. He worked on all live shows, and that's where the most people worked. And that's where, my dad was very excited about this, right? TV came about in his lifetime. Same thing with me and the internet, right? They wasn't around when you shows up. So he was very excited about it. He wanted to be more dedicated, and he was... You've seen it in every movie. It's in every novel. Mr. Smith goes to Washington. Mr. Tyll went to CBS. And, can't we just plug this in? My dad would say, whoa, don't touch that. And my dad would say, what do you mean? We just plug it in. Let's go. We have a guy who plugs that in. And my dad, everybody else, except my dad, would say, oh, that's good. And they would go get more coffee. They as soon as they say, no, somebody else does it. When I first went to a professional rock and roll station, WPLJ Union, Pat St. John was not allowed to touch the record player. He could touch the album. He could hand the album to the engineer. Could not put his hands on the turntable. Not allowed. Union can't do it. Now, it's all relative. Some people love this. Oh, there's somebody for everything. Oh, it's a perfect ballet. It's the ants. But the fire ants. The guy I'm watching when animals the ants can make a raft. You could get 5 million ants. They all become one ant. And they float across a river. They get on the other side. They're 5 million ants again, and they go running. So this is what some people like. Some people, and my dad, like me, he's a little impatient. He'd be like, come on. So he was not good with the other one. No, we don't do any shows for 8 weeks, and then we come back. He says, we're not going to work for 8 weeks. Yeah, it's a show business. Everybody else gets another job or does something. And he says, on a regular basis, these shows are number one. He goes, these shows are the hottest shows on TV. And guy looks at my dad and says, so? Well, you don't think you understand. We have to do this by the book. There's a way to... Oh, forget it. That was the end. So when he announced that, one of his cousins was with him all the way. Eddie, you're doing the right thing. Eddie, you got to go get it. Got to do it right. Everybody else, you must be out of your mind. We thought you were a smart guy. We thought that you had it all together. We thought that you were the thing. CBS, a guy like you got your wife up there in the Bronx. CBS, you're going to get to Westchester County, Pelham, New Rochelle, right? You're going to live next to Rob Petrie, the TV character with the Mary Tyler Moore, Dick Van Dyke. That's where they lived, in New Rochelle. And a nice little suburb. You got yourself a diner. You got yourself an interstate exit ramp. And my dad's like, who do you think you're talking to? My dad was like Jack Kerouac or one of those guys. What are you talking about? I don't go for that. So what do you think? My dad would say, what do you think, you're in some movie? What do you think, you're on some TV show? What do you think, life is like a movie? He goes, that's not the way life is. And then he would tell you, he was from Hell's Kitchen, where they knew early on the same thing that I'm learning with these guys, John Malkovich and Mark Winston. They got me. They know they got me, and I know I've been gotten. So it's now the first 3:15 wake up. And I'm out there near Lake Pontchartrain, me alone in that house, echoing a freaking alarm clock. And I go, oh, Jesus, God, what have I done? I was in heaven. I must have, kicked St. Peter in the balls or something. Now I'm in hell. What am I doing? This is my career. I'm on a piece of paper. This should be the best thing ever right now. I am it. They love me. He loves me. Everybody loves me. And now what? What am I do? 3:15 in the morning. First thing I thought of, this can't be good for your health. You know what's going to happen now? Now we're going to start with the sore throats. Now we're going to start with the stomach aches. Now we're going to start with the back as twisted. You know why? Because you're not going to be sleeping right. It's not right for the human animal to get up in the middle of the dark. I have a circadian rhythm. I have brain waves, and mine I use at work. No offense. Some people go into work and they're like, oh, I was thinking about Batman all day. Oh, boy, that Joker, I'll tell you, he's, all day I thought about that. If the Joker and the Riddler really ever teamed up in a serious movie, though, I'm talking about, with all kinds of blood. And you say, this is what you did at work? Yeah, well, I do the same thing over and over. That Batman keeps me going. You see my sweatshirt? Yeah. So, yes, what if all day you had to think about every single thing that came down the conveyor belt? Oh, there's a blue one. Oh, there's a red one. Oh, that's a big one, a small one, a medium one. Oh, that's on the left side. That should be on the right side. Oh, each and everything happening in front of me has to be, I have to look at that. Oh, and by the way, do you remember the last 10 things? I said, how would you like that? Oh, I couldn't. Oh, no. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's what we do. And then we want to make fun out of it. Then we want to make a story out of it. Yeah. So I knew that he knew. I love that line, right? Remember this? Was it Abbott and Costello? I knew that he knew that I knew that he knew that he knew that I knew that I knew that he knew. And it's true. If you do that an even amount of times, it comes out right. And it's true. Deep down, he knew I couldn't stay there. But they would always say, someday when you're in L.A. And I didn't take kindly to that. Because that meant that they were already preparing to live without me. If you love me, how are you not keeping me comfortable here with a nice house in the Garden District? I love the Garden District because you can get downtown in no time. But the houses are, they're all out of movies. That movie crews are always scoping the Garden District of New Orleans for places to have an important scene, tell a classic tale. Even though it's not in New Orleans, the movie a lot of people remember about 20 years ago is Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. That happens to be Savannah, but it's the same viscosity. It's thick with real and not a lot of mechanical stuff, not a lot of automation. People work and live off their personalities, which I love. That's why I love being there. So anyway, I knew it was doomed. He did too. So there comes a day where my agent, who for a year at that time had not called, I was like, I don't understand. They're in love with me over here. You don't even call me. Oh, I know you're doing well. If I know you're doing well, I see what the newspaper said. I put up Instagram the other day, me with those pants, those high-waisted pleated pants I have on. They put me in the newspaper, so my agent feels, what do I have to do? He's happy. So I said, I don't hear from you. He said, well, tell you why I'm calling now. I said, what? He goes, there's a guy in Chicago thinks you're hilarious. He's had your tape for 2.5 years, and he finally has a spot for you. I said, you're kidding, Chicago? He goes, this guy thinks you're hilarious. He goes, you're going to like this. This is a station not like these other stations that you've been on. I said, well, what is this? He goes, it's a Chicago personality talk, but two of the shows are guys that are the bad boys of the market. One guy is set a bunch of disco records on fire and destroyed White Sox Park that day. They had to cancel the game. He's a badass. Every time he goes out in public, the audience shows up. It's like Stern, but different. It's a little more serious. Howard's got a lot of nude girls. This guy blows up records on the pitcher's mound in between a doubleheader, and they got to cancel the game. The audience turns on him. The stadium turns on. They're booing him. They had to run him out of there. I said, I love this. I said, I think I heard about it. They said, yeah, look it up. You got to find this because you're going to like being there. I said, who's the other guy? He said, well, the other guy, he's a celebrity wake them up prankster. He gets the phone numbers of big, Sylvester Stallone back, in the day, monster celebrity. He gets these numbers. Then he makes the prank phone call. And then he always knows somebody in their family. So he tries to pretend he's a cousin, somebody, strings them along, lures them to the radio. Oh, I should say, and these are celebrities staying in Chicago. Johnny Brandmeier is doing this. And lures them to the clock radio. Then they hear themselves and they know they're being pranked on the radio. And he's amazing at this. Then they all come in the studio, and the movie stars come and want to be with Johnny. And Johnny's got bongos and 8 guys on his show, and he's got custom songs. Johnny, when his show would come on, it took 5 people to move him into the studio. They had to build an extra big studio for a wheel cart of the instruments, his drums, his bongos, his trumpets, his puppets, his hats. I never saw anything like it. So that's the morning show. The other guy's blowing up the baseball stadium. Oh, he blew up the disco records. Why? Because he hates disco. He's trying to put disco single-handedly as a radio guy. He's trying to put disco out of business. And it's genius, right? Because you're not going to put anything out of business, but you're going to get a ton of publicity and ratings sticking up for his fans. Disco sucks. That was the word at the time. Disco sucks. So she says, now do you? She goes, I got one more for you. I said, who is this? She goes, you're going to love it. It's Chet Kopic. I said, who is Chet Kopic? He is the biggest guy in the Midwest, the Chicago Bears, the Chicago Bulls, the White Sox, the Cubs at Comiskey Park. He's an institution. He's been on the air 25, 30 years, but he'll have a nickname for you in 2 seconds. Now, you say, well, your agent there I have an agent team of Saul Foose. Yes. And Lisa, not Lisa, do not call her Lisa, but it's spelled Lisa, so everybody gets yelled at once. Lisa Miller. Lisa Miller and Saul Foose, the Foose Miller firm representing me. They're both on the phone. Saul takes the lead because he's the, first name on the window. Lisa now is telling me how much she loves them. She says, you need to be good on this station. I said, I will be. She goes, well, don't screw this up. I love this station, and you need to fit in. She goes, don't think you're going to. I said, Saul. He goes, she's not wrong, Ed. Chicago is going to be a little, probably not going to get away with everything you're saying in Atlanta and everything you said in New Orleans. They're going to be a little provincial up here. I said, but Steve Dahl, you told me about that. Yeah, well, all those guys got banged up pretty good. Kevin Matthews doesn't do that. Kevin Matthews is a comedy that doesn't hurt people's feelings. He's got Jim Shorts. Jim Shorts. He does his voices. All of his characters are goofy. They're goofy. And you know what else they are? What? She's yelling. I didn't even do a show yet. I haven't been on the air. She's on me. He's silly. You're not very silly, and I think you could be more funny. You're funny when you want to be funny once a week, every 10 days. Yeah. Could you maybe be funny like every 10 minutes? Because that's what they are. I said, wow, this is... Well, she says, you are moving up to the top 3 market in the country. You know that, right? She goes, it's not just Chicago, sports town, and, hot dogs with onions and deep dish pizza and all these other stereotypes, Oprah. It's not just that. It's the number 3 advertising market. In those days, radio was, there was no internet advertising. Radio ads in Chicago, very expensive, $1,500, $2,000 an ad. They weren't jerking around, she was telling me. So I said, okay, Liz, I got it. I'm going to have to step up my game. And, Saul's like, No, she's a worry wart. She loves them all. You just be you. You do what you do. This guy likes you. He thinks that your brand of humor is funny. And what she's saying is, don't get caught up in the news about the councilman. What do you care? You're not there to fix Chicago. Just give them a good time. This is a good time radio station. This is not the crusade. They don't want crusade over there. Now, if crusade is you're going to give everybody $1 million cash, that they want. So if you notice, once a year they take everybody to Hawaii, the listeners, and they do the show in Hawaii. You sit there in Hawaii at the resort with the ocean and the hula girls and the grass skirts and the drinks and the lei around. This is you gotta we don't want to take down George Bush or what they do. I don't care. That's they're going to leave that to the other guys. You with that? I said, well, I do. Well, current events humor, yes, you should all the parody in the world. They'll make fun of everybody on the news. So that's the